pull up a chair, will you? Because this is gonna be a little long. I do apologize, but man, this is crap. This is total junk. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I know for sure what's going on, but I'm gonna tell you right now that I do believe 100% that what is going on is not what they say is going on. The stuff don't make any sense. It's just a complete scripted show. Let's just take a listen here.
On the ground, on standby. Lifeline does not have a patient, and they have not received any patient or word that they will get a patient at any point, but they are there. The helicopter has landed and ready to take off with anybody who needs that kind of critical care, should that be needed there in Troutdale. We see students tweeting. We've locked onto a couple of those accounts this morning, and we see they're talking about a number of police cars. We know that. One student tweeting that she heard gunfire, and a third reporting a police officer racing toward the school's gymnasium at Reynolds High School. We have watched a stream of police cars and fire trucks, ambulances stream by here on Cherry Park Road. Again, this is in Troutdale. Catherine Cook is on the phone with us. And Catherine, we bring you in because you are a graduate of Reynolds High School. And I don't believe you're on scene yet, but you know this area obviously very well. This must be shaking you up this morning to hear that your high school is involved in this.
Absolutely. Actually, I just woke up about half hour. I won't work on the nighttime, so I picked up my phone and just saw a completely blown up text with all my friends saying, hey, your school, something's happening. And then, of course, I turned to Twitter like we all do now, Dave. And I just, after I got myself together, I sent a text message to my old track coach at Reynolds. He's still there, and I was so thankful to hear back from him right away. He said, hey, I'm okay. I've got my students. We're in lockdown in our classroom now. We're waiting to hear more. And I'm just really, it's shaking me up, too. I'm just praying for everyone's safety. I followed some law enforcement agents. One of the firefighters I follow just said that they confirmed 2 victims. I don't know if that means 2 people dead or 2 people injured. I think it's important that we all, stop and wait, and without, getting too anxious, just, wait for the reports, the actual reports, the facts. And I know it's easy in these circumstances to just go with the first rumor we hear, but, certainly everyone is doing their jobs to keep everyone safe, and I'm just praying for the best.
And we all are, and Catherine, we're being very careful here.
Pretty weird, huh? Isn't it weird how she said the first thing she did was she went to Twitter? And not only was it the first thing she did it before she texted somebody she knew, supposedly.
Swarm.
Let's keep going. It gets better.
Of an active shooter inside a high school. Dozens of police officers are on the scene at Reynolds High School in Troutdale. No more information is being released yet. We'll stay on top of this and bring you developments as we get them. And joining me now is the mayor of Troutdale, Doug Dallas. Mr. Mayor, what can you tell us?
Well, shortly after school started at 8 o'clock, we had reports of an active shooter. There's police officers from multiple cities swarming around the high school. There has been a life flight helicopter called to the scene, but we don't know at this point in time if there's any injuries. The parents are gathering outside the police tape, wondering about their students. And it's the second largest high school in Oregon, so it's a rather large school.
And exactly where in Oregon is Troutdale? Position it for us, Mr. Mayor.
It's the eastern suburb of Portland, Oregon.
Now, at this stage, you don't know of any injuries. What are you hearing from inside the school?
Well, the best we can do right now is social media from the students that are trapped inside the school. Some parents are getting tweets and social media updates from inside the school where the kids are in lockdown inside classrooms. But we do not have any information at this time about any injuries, although there was shooting that was heard.
Isn't it kind of funny how this interview is going nowhere except for, well, we just kind of rely on Twitter at this point?
Tell us what grades are in this high school.
It's your standard high school grades of 9 through 12.
And have there been any warnings or anything else anywhere of any kind of violence in the community?
No, none whatsoever. This is finals week, so all the students are preoccupied with taking final tests. There was no previous reason for concern.
The other question I have is the surrounding area. Now we're talking about a school in a suburban area outside Portland. What nearby points, other schools in the area, what other conditions or emergency procedures have you put in place elsewhere in the community until you know how many people could be involved?
Well, I tell you, our police department only has 18 officers, but there must be close to, 100 officers on site from about, I would say, 10 or 13 different cities that have swarmed over here to help assist.
What time of day did this all begin? If you could take us back and set the stage as to how this all started.
Well, it started shortly after 8 a.m., just as students and teachers were arriving. In fact, some of the teachers were not able to access the school because the police beat them to the school and taped it off. So it was right as school was started at 8 a.m.
Mr. Mayor, if you could stand by for just a moment, our local affiliate, KGW, is interviewing the niece of someone or the uncle of someone inside. Let's listen.
But that's all I know.
And I'm looking around, you see lots of parents and students here. Describe to us the general feeling in the air.
Fear.
All right, well, I'm glad that your niece is okay. Thank you, Mark. So, Russ, we just heard from the uncle of a student who's a freshman here at Reynolds High School. His niece, in 9th grade, and right now she is holed up, he said, in a classroom, but he was so relieved to have just gotten the text from her that she is okay. A lot of parents here, Russ, are not hearing from their students, possibly just because they don't have their phones, or they do not have phones, or do not have them on them right now. So that is the sensation of fear that Mark just described to us. He said fear is the general mood here, and that is because a lot of these parents are unsure of what is going on with their kids and if they are okay inside that school. So good.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Good for Mark for hearing from his niece. We're glad to hear that she's okay, and we're just hearing from a lot more parents here at the scene. More and more.
They look absolutely terrified, don't they? I mean, if I had to pick an adjective to label these people, I would pick terrified, scared, full of fear.
To find out what their children are saying from inside the school.
Doust, I know you're outside and you've been in touch with all of the school principal presumably, and other school officials. How many teachers do you believe were actually inside at the time? You said that people were just arriving at school.
Well, I don't have a good estimate. I just know that some of the teachers were not able to access the school because it was first thing in the morning.
And what are the procedures, Mr. Mayor, what are the procedures, lockdown procedures or other emergency procedures that your community may have put in place after other incidents?
Well, the main thing is the level of support from every surrounding jurisdiction. You would not believe how quickly the police officers showed up, and the special teams from the sheriff's office. The street in front of the school is loaded with police officers. They know exactly what to do.
And we're not ready for martial law. We're not getting ready to go into martial law. Where did that thing come from?
This situation, and it's very obvious from this incident that they know what they're doing.
Indeed, and we saw just a few shots here from our affiliate from KGW of a sheriff's armored personnel vehicle arriving, and a lot of police response. In a situation like this, do you get the FBI involved at this stage, or do you get the state police involved?
At this point in time, I'm not sure if the FBI is involved.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor Doug Joust. And we turn now to former FBI negotiator Jim Kavanaugh. Jim, the procedures that are put in place, this is obviously a suburban community, 16 miles outside of Portland, Oregon. The response, as the mayor just said, was rapid, but you've got a situation where not all the teachers were in place. We don't know how many adults were actually in the school. The kids seem to be, in some cases, handling their own lockdown.
Right, exactly, Andrea. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're moving to the lockdown areas they've learned through their teachers and practice. And the police force, even though the mayor described it as only small, 16 officers, no doubt they've practiced the training, the active shooter training that we all practiced post-Columbine. So the response is quick. Students are doing what they're supposed to do. Teachers are doing what they're supposed to do. There is reported gunshots, so we do likely have a shooter in there. But he might have been isolated. Officers may already be on top of him, so we have to just wait and see how it unfolds.
Joining us now is Shannon Watson, Moms Demanding Action, founder of that organization. Shannon, we've been to too many of these, seen too many of these situations, but your response as you see the first hour, let's say, of this incident?
It's just horrific. I mean, as a parent of 5 children, I can't even imagine what these parents are going through. And it's not like we don't have control to stop it. We do. We have to act. This is at least the 75th shooting. It's the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. And parents watching these things, they're coming to your backyard. It is time to act.
What more do you think the state and local and federal governments need to do?
Well, first of all, Congress has got to move on. Their job is to protect constituents, and they're not. They're protecting the gun lobby. It is time to vote to close the background check loophole. States should do the exact same thing. And we're working with American businesses to change their gun policies. I mean, we're trying to change the culture of gun violence in this country one step at a time. But, we need the help of business people, of members of Congress, of legislators, but most of all the people listening to your show right now. You can't wait to act. We're seeing that every day. We have to demand action.
This is unbelievable. I don't even know what I'm looking at. And isn't it amazing how at one minute they're saying fear, 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 and then the next she's saying Sandy Hook, and then they're talking about gun control and taking people's rights away. See how it works? None of this even adds up. I like how it's 16 miles away from Portland, and it was the second largest high school in Oregon, and the police station that responded had 18 members, with assistance from 10 to 13 cities or something around. It just doesn't make sense. And plus the numbers, 1698. The first thing was like 30 minutes. That lady said she heard it like 30 minutes after it happened. It just doesn't make any sense. That's just what they do. It's how they work. And this stuff's getting worse with every time it happens. But whatever. So I just wanted to share this and pass this along because this is junk. And it's ridiculous. Alright, thanks teammates and subs. Bye.